So today we're going to be talking about how to differentiate your product for maximum sales. So differentiation is key to being able to have a successful Amazon business. I truly believe that it's the bedrock that I have built my business on. I don't know about you, but definitely for me, it's if I can't differentiate the product, I'm not going there. So
Yeah, I agree. My first product, and I think for a lot of us, our first product is our learning product. It wasn't heavily differentiated. My second one, I really went all in with the differentiation, and the difference that is made, the way that it just stands out, you don't have to advertise as much. You don't have to, it's just clever. So, and I love this. It's fun. It's what sets you apart from the competition.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Because you see, it's just, to me, it's frustrating when I go on Amazon and I'm personally shopping and I see, multiple sellers selling the exact same product. So it's like, you guys aren't trying. You just
no.
took it off the shelf from a manufacturer, and that's disappointing to me. So
And then
I
they're
really like
competing on price. All they've got to
exactly.
differentiate on is price, and you don't want that. It's a race to the bottom.
Yep, 100%. So yeah, I mean, for me, my differentiation on my two products, I kind of like you. My second product was actually my first product, but I didn't get live with it as fast as the second product.
Right.
So, but that one, it wasn't quite as heavily differentiated. These other ones, I've actually got patent pending on them for their design. So, um,
Brilliant.
yeah, so it's like, yes. So that's
Yeah.
that's that's expanding that moat around your business to protect you and insulate you from others.
Yeah. And adds
So,
so much value if you ever go to sell as well, especially with that pattern.
absolutely.
Mm.
Oh, absolutely. So, product differentiation. Why do you need to differentiate? Well, I think we've kind of covered that. It's going to add that mode. It's going to help you stand out, and it's going to insulate you from being able to be copied by others, especially if you can get that IP protection. And then how can you differentiate? So there's more than one way to differentiate. Um, you can do visual, which I think is probably the easiest. Um,
Mm.
Functional, though, can be really powerful as well.
Yeah. I think if you can differentiate functionally, that solves a pain point. It's really, really powerful. Visually, it can be cool, but it's also, if you're just changing a color, it's so easy to copy. You're really not
Yeah.
trying too hard there, as you said. But yeah.
Yeah, and when I look at visual differentiation, I look at it as, I mean, I guess for some lines of products it that are aesthetic, like home goods, that visual differentiation can make a huge difference. And you'll find there's certain products that people, because they've got that gas factor, people will scroll through more pages because they're trying to find that aesthetic element that fits in their home because it's something that's going to be displayed.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But then you can also differentiate your photography. So I think the photography kind of is just that additional layer on top of the other types of differentiation. If you've gone to the trouble of visually differentiating, you need to make sure that your photography, get creative with that and let that stand out and really help, because that'll just boost your conversions. And that's what we're talking about. How can you increase your sales? How can you maximize your sales? And if you have a really cool visual differentiation, you need to make sure that it's really well represented in your photography, but get creative with your photography too.
Mm. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Because remember, when you're on Amazon, first thing you see is that one image. You are shopping with your eyes, and even more so on your phone when space is limited. You need to
Yep.
grab those clicks in that first view and go, oh, that's different. That one stands out from all the others on the page for whatever reason. So, and we're
Yes,
going to show you
absolutely.
so many live examples today, which is so to drive all these different points home. So, yeah.
Yes. So tips. So don't over differentiate. Okay. So I have, and I think that we may have an example in today that is just over differentiated,
We did.
and it just doesn't solve there's no reason for it. Your differentiation, you take it, you could go, I'm going to do this, and this is going to make it awesome. Well, okay. Can you, number one, translate that into your photography? Can that show? Can and is it solving a pain point? Um, oh, Kelsey, 100, oh yeah, Kelsey, 100% video. If you can put video, and I think everyone can put video, you don't have to be brand registered. If you're brand registered, you can do video ads. I am a huge, huge believer in the power of video on Amazon.
Yeah. I know I've bought way too many things just because I saw a video of it and went, oh, that's cool. I didn't think of using it in that setting or whatever it might be. It puts it in the setting. It puts, especially if you are clever and really speak to your avatar through the video. So if you have a product for dogs, you have all the cute dogs in there, and then it sets the scene. It creates an emotion.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and people are buying. The emotion is really, really important. Your photos and your videos should evoke the right emotion. So your differentiation, it should be an improvement, or it should fix a problem that your avatar has. So it's, a lot of people talk about pain points. My products don't really necessarily address a pain point. I mean, slightly they do, but they are more of an improvement. It's more of a pleasure. So it's either you're solving pain or you're providing pleasure.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And again, differentiation for no reason is not going to help your sales. You can
No.
go and make some change to a product, but it's like, is there really a reason behind doing it?
Yeah, no one asked for it. Nobody's complaining about whatever that issue is. We've got some examples of that as well.
Yeah, and that's a key point too. That's one of the ways you can figure out how, and this is how I figured out one of the things that I needed to make sure that I achieved with my product was going through the love-hate tool and finding out that other sellers aren't meeting this need adequately with their product. So I made some selections and creating my product that was going to solve that problem.
Yeah, and it can be as simple as changing the size of something or the materials that go into it or how it's packaged. It doesn't need to be these drastic changes that you need to hire engineers for. It can just be simply listening to the customers through love-hate and going, they're not providing the size that people are after. Let me do that. That's really easy to convey through images, and away you go. So don't think it's this overcomplicated process where you need to reinvent the wheel.
No, I mean, I didn't even have to engage anyone. Like some people have to engage like a product designer and come up with these, specific drawings to go to your manufacturer. And that can be expensive, but it can be worthwhile. If you have a really good idea that's really going to create something. I know someone who, it was a product that I was actually looking at and thinking about, but hadn't come up with a way to really differentiate it. And she's come up with it and shown me her drawings. And I'm like, okay, that's off my list now. You can run with that because you have nailed it. I mean, I can't wait for it to go down the market. So,
well, that's exciting.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I'll tell you about it later. You must be able to communicate the difference in your photo. So we've mentioned that before, but if your photo just looks like everybody else's, and especially your hero photo, if it's something that you can convey in your hero photo, sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's going to take those other photos to really explain the differentiation. But yeah, it's there. You have to be able to have that difference. And
absolutely.
Translate it.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we probably have a few seconds of someone's attention before they scroll on to the next product. So like this one, it's a perfect example. I look at it straight away. I know it's different.
Absolutely. And this one is when you look on page 1 of the waffle makers, they're all round or square or just your basic waffle maker, nothing special. And then there's this, and it's like, my God, that's so cute.
Yeah. Instantly, it's got my attention. It's fun. When we were talking about that emotional response before, my first thought goes, oh my gosh, my kids would love this. This is fun. Like it creates a response that, and it's clear. I'm just looking at their ratings. It's obviously a great product as well. And that's the other thing you want to keep in mind. You want to differentiate, but still it needs to be functional. It needs to perform what it's supposed to do. So this is a great example.
Yeah, and again, this is a very tough niche. The competition opportunity score in the US market was 12%. So that's a tough market. But they're killing it. I mean, they're really doing well. And they absolutely differentiated their photography with this. I mean, this
It's really
is
fun.
this is so cute. I mean, my God, that is so awesome. And I mean, you can tell that, this photo is a little bit of a Photoshop, but I don't care. I mean, you can tell here they are standing up on the other one. But how they've got the little toys in the background, the other little dinosaurs. I can completely see, if I had, a 5 or 6 year old child, them sitting at the breakfast table, really eating their breakfast and playing with it and enjoying the meal. So I think this is brilliant.
I can't look at that listing without smiling. It's a winner. Yeah, like you just look at it and go, oh, that is so cute. It's so much fun. And I bet they can charge a premium for their products because of that as well. So not only are they standing out and they're different, but they're probably charging more for their products, which wouldn't cost that much more to make, I'm guessing, once they get the moldings done.
Yeah, once you get the mold done, that, and you could factor that in over a couple of years and would be negligible of an investment. But wow, I mean, this is so cool. Love it.
This one,
this is yours.
I wanted to point this out because sometimes you can really struggle, and I've had this before, where it's like, how can I differentiate my product? It's just so stock standard. This one, for example, is a dog bed. I wouldn't recommend anyone going into the dog bed market. It is super, super tight, especially in the US. But what this seller has done, all the others are on the page are just a dog lying in a dog bed, which is great. These are the only ones that have put packaging in their image. And there's nothing super special about the packaging, except there is a USA flag on the side of the box there. It's quite hard to miss. And when you're looking at 50 other listings that are pretty much identical, this one jumps out. And they're actually the best seller in the space, simply because I believe, this is my opinion, they stand out, and their differentiation factor is that they're made in the US. So, and when I looked into it further, not even the entire product's made there, it's just the foam inside, but it's enough for them to be able to leverage that as a factor. And when we were talking before about we need to convey that through the image, how they've done it, super clever. It's subtle, but at the same time, you know what they're saying. So if they just had it in their title, for example, made in the USA or something like that, could easily miss it in that sea of images. So this is a great example of making it seen in the hero shot what you're trying to say is different about your product. And it's a really basic, run-of-the-mill product. The product itself isn't different. It's how they've manufactured it. So I think this is a brilliant example.
Yeah, that is really, really clever. And they are. I mean, look at their ratings, 59,000 ratings.
Yeah. Again, obviously it's a great product, but you
can't take them down. No, they're
in. They're there for the long haul. This was another one that I found that was quite interesting, and it's gone on functional differentiation. Now, I don't know if anyone in the room has had small kids around at the moment, but baby gates are quite popular once they start walking. Also a very tough niche in the US. This one really jumped out at me. As you can see, it's like a retractable gate. And I liked this because you're not having to jump over anything or awkward ways to undo things. If you've got people over, you can just retract it and you barely know it's there. So it's very aesthetically pleasing. What I wanted to point out with this one, though, was that that's their hero image. And if anybody knows what is acceptable for a hero image, it's not that. So they're actually breaking terms of service. So they've weighed up the benefit versus risk here and gone, to really convey the benefit of our product, we're willing, because a hero shot should be the product on a white background. They're not doing that, but they've put this up it probably is only a matter of time before Amazon does catch them out on that, but they're willing to risk it. Because if we go to the next page, you'll see what it was interesting to know. A lot of them are doing this because it's a white product on a white background. You just can't see them, so it looks like a lot of the people in this niche are willing to run that risk. But the difference being, look at all these ones. The gate's always there. You can't put it away. And then this one here in the image, you can't even see it. It looks like it's part of the door. It's just a retractable mesh slider that goes back and forward. So functionally different. It makes sense to me. You can take it away when you need it without having to remove the entire gate. And yeah, they're willing to risk I guess, terms of service to convey what their products are in that practical way. So
yeah, that's really cool. And this is a pain point for me because I don't have small children, but I have dogs that I've tried to keep out of certain areas. And some of those baby gates, they're really difficult to open and close, and they're at a height where it makes it difficult to step over them. So yeah, that I'd really like that one. So
yeah,
that's really cool.
And again, it's going into your house, so people care what it looks like.
Absolutely. And I mean, here you can see here that it's tucked away in that little corner there. When it's closed, when it's not in use, you probably don't even see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's very clever. Very, very clever. So visual differentiation, the famous yoga mat, such a tough niche to get into. I wouldn't think of launching a yoga mat for anything, but this one stands out not only because it's got really bright colors, but it's visual differentiation, but it's also a bit of functional differentiation because it has yoga poses on one side and stretching poses on the other side. So it's providing that instruction for someone who may be new to it or a point of reference while they're doing their practice to make sure that they're getting everything right. I would buy this. I think this is just brilliant. And it was on page 1, and it's only got 267 reviews. So that's saying a lot about the fact that differentiation has really boosted them up to page 1.
Yeah, it's cut through. I mean, yoga mats would be one of the hardest niches to crack, I think. Like the figures are next level. And Kelsey, you nailed it. Playing on emotion with the happy mom and the kid before. Absolutely. If you have a mom and a baby smiling as they're opening the gate, it just creates that image in your mind that this product is going to work. It's going to make my life easier and happier. So absolutely.
So again, talking about demonstrating the differentiation. So they've got really great infographics. I'm a huge proponent of infographics. And with tools like Canva, you don't even have to get a graphic designer. There are so many tools, even in the free version, that you create your own really cool infographics. So they're pointing out in this so much information. The thickness of it. They're displaying all the poses, the strap, the size, everything there. And then again here you've got 75 poses on the front that are yoga poses and stretching exercises on the back. How awesome is that? I need this in my life, really.
Yeah. And anyone who has Canva, just a little tip there, you can type in Amazon infographics, I think it is, or just start typing in Amazon. They have a bunch of templates that you can use, ready-made, that you just switch the images and the text out, but it's already formatted perfectly for Amazon. So check it out, especially if you're on a budget.
Absolutely. And you can easily, and most of those templates, you would be able to have the function to change the colors out also to match your brand colors. So yeah, I use that constantly. I love Canva.
Yeah, me too.
This is interesting.
Yeah, a few reasons. I went down a bit of a rabbit hole with this one. So it is a cat litter box. So they're trying to solve a pain point. Most people don't want ugly cat litter boxes on display, especially if they have a nice home. The last thing they want is this big ugly plastic box. So they've created a hidden cat litter box. It looks like a plant pot. It is a bestseller, but I don't think they're really trying too hard. But I wanted to point out what power differentiation can have on a listing. So for a start, their image, their hero image, isn't taking up the full space available. So they've they've cut out a lot of their picture. I think anybody could make a much nicer looking pot than that. The plant looks really fake. I don't think it would take too much work to really make that beautiful. And the color, I have issues with the product itself. I love how they've differentiated it. And just through that, they've been able to dominate. So if you go to the next page, they've got 2 color options. This is the other one. They have, I think, 3 or 4 images on their page. That's it. Their bullets they haven't used really. There's a couple of words in each one. They're not brand registered. Or as they are, they're not using the A+ content. Then
Wow.
they're not really trying, and they're doing 176,000 per month. Their listing score is 4.6 out of 10. So I
And this
feel
is
like
the US market?
US market, and I just feel like there's so much potential there for someone who is creative. A hidden cat litter box, but make it
Pretty.
beautiful. Yeah, like this one, it's like they kind of got there, but didn't quite. Like they nailed the differentiation, they nailed the pain point, haven't executed on the design. So, but still, you can see just that alone is a 6-figure monthly revenue driver for them. So, super interesting.
Yeah, because I love the concept of it, but again, you know, that really is not an attractive pot. I mean, it's okay, but they could do so much better.
Couldn't they? Yeah, absolutely. It would not be hard at all. Wouldn't be hard at all.
No, no, there's definitely room for improvement there. So that's really cool.
Uh,
Pointless differentiation. I love this.
yeah, I saw this one and just went, okay, this is, yeah. Has anyone
Oh,
ever been in the rain with their umbrella and thought, geez, I really wish this umbrella could light up right now? That would make my life so much better. It would really solve the pain of being in the rain. Like, and I've got so many issues with this as well. For a start, it's got a battery pack that creates all sorts of issues on Amazon. You need different, for insurance, your warranties, your disclaimer, your warning labels, things
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
The fact that they're trying to charge $36 for it, uh, it,
It's an umbrella.
it's an umbrella. And then even it gets worse. So if you go to the next page, that's their
But
hero
wait,
image there, by the way. These were the other images that went with that. I don't even know what I'm looking at here. Like terrible. I'm sure they're trying to show me something important about the product. I don't know what it is. So that's you need to explain how your product's going to make their life better, happier, performance function. Um, Having a see-through umbrella on a white background, it's just wrong. It's wrong on so many levels. So yeah, don't put lights in your
Yeah.
umbrella, please, people.
No, no. That yeah, I mean, yeah. What were they thinking?
I don't, and it comes in all sorts of different shades and colors. So they went all in. They went all
Hmm.
in. They obviously weren't using the ZonGuru data to work out what was
No,
going on there. Mm.
no, definitely not. Because I would be interested to see where this is on, what keywords they're using. Because this can't be something that people are searching for. They'd have to be just in the umbrella niche. And I get upset paying $10 for an umbrella. So $35, no. Um,
They better include the batteries with that one.
yeah,
Oh,
definitely. Oh, this is another one.
yeah, over
Yeah.
differentiation. So the one you just saw with the umbrella, it's kind of like pointless differentiation. Why would you do it? This one is where they've just gone to the extreme. They've really niched down. So it's a, a crystal paper towel holder, I guess. Would you call it that? Like a
Yeah.
bedazzled paper towel holder?
Bedazzled. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very niche aesthetic. So We do recommend niching down. Find that niche within a niche,
Hmm.
but this is extreme. The amount of people that are sitting there and thinking, I really need to buy a new diamond paper towel holder. One in a million. I can't imagine, although there's been 68 reviews, so there's somebody out there that does like it. It's really
I,
limiting. Yeah, it's
yeah,
limiting your buyer.
I just don't see that as being the aesthetic look in many people's kitchens. I, I
No,
I just don't
no,
see that. I mean, and maybe Real Housewives of New York, but still, I think they even have, yeah, no.
not good.
Yeah.
So doing that, it's going to limit your buyer audience. And then the photos didn't match what they were claiming to be. So one has toilet paper on it, but they're advertising it as a paper towel holder. So it's a mishmatch there. I'm not sure what the rings have to do with it either. Is it designed to be at a wedding? I'm getting
Yeah.
confused about how they're trying to position the products. You don't, the second that you bring confusion into the buyer's mind, you're going to lose the buyer. You want them to just,
100%.
yeah, like I know when I'm going to buy something, the things that can put me off are confusion, negative reviews, and it needs to be competitively priced for what it's offering. They're just missing the mark on every step there.
Listen, there's a saying, and this, I literally woke up one night around 2 o'clock in the morning and just sat there in bed because there was some aspect to my product and that needed to change, and I just kept the phrase going over and over in my head. The confused mind says no, and the mind doesn't even necessarily need to register the confusion as overtly as these photos would, but one little thing can be off that would generate confusion on a subconscious level, and it can kill it. So
Hmm.
that consistency needs to be there, and this is just killing me. I mean, this is like a photo with the rings that you would see, but I mean, I have a photo of our wedding rings from our wedding, but I certainly didn't have a paper towel holder next to
Yeah,
it.
I was going to say, is it next to a paper towel holder? Yeah, I don't
No.
know what's going
Mm,
on with this one.
no, that's, and the toilet paper just kills me.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Um, so differentiation does require some creativity, and I will be the first to admit that I am not the most creative person. It's really hard to start with a blank piece of paper and come up with something. But you do need to look at trying to be as creative as possible. And this baby blanket, there's so much more room to be creative. This is just plain white with this little rustic thing that goes around the month, and it's it's just really not, they're not trying. You just look at it, and if you looked at this listings, photos, they're really not trying.
No.
Um, oops, wrong way. There we go. But this is what page one looks like for this niche. Is that
And
product going to stand out?
only in a bad way. You'd only look at it
Yeah.
and go, oh, this is not the one I'm going to buy. When I look at the others, they've really tried to get creative. They're going to be attracting different buyers for different reasons. I love that some have like the months and the year, like you can use them in a number of different ways. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, because this is something that's got a huge gas factor. When I was looking at this, even page 2 and 3 had decent revenue because there's just that many different aesthetic ways to go at this. And they've gone, this is hugely visually differentiated, but then they've gone with some functional differentiations too. Like you said, with so a few of them have weeks and months. So,
mm,
a new parent is going to want to, capture these milestones, especially a first time parent. The second child, like my poor daughter, her baby book has nothing in it. I mean, you're too busy. But the first one, you're all in. It's
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
You're invested. So,
yeah.
and I like the way a couple of them have shown, how it's bundled together as a gift, because this is definitely a giftable item.
Yeah, I was about to say, and with a nice bow around it. Like if I was shopping for somebody for a baby present, I'd be going, "Oh, it's pre-wrapped already. It looks gorgeous. I just need to pop it in a bag. Away we go." Yeah,
Yeah,
brilliant.
absolutely. Yeah. So yeah. But now again, lack of creativity. So a dog travel backpack. This is actually by a very famous person. Trisha Yearwood is a very well-known country music singer in the United States. But I guess she loves her dog. But dog travel backpacks are a good niche. They can be a tough niche. It's a 64% niche score. The average revenue is really, really high. And even on page 3, you've got an
Mm.
$8,000 average monthly revenue. So again, there's a gas factor to this. And if you aren't familiar with what gas factor means, pardon me, but it means give a shit. So people really do care about what they're doing. So they're going to scroll through multiple pages to get to the one that is going to meet their needs. But this one doesn't convey anything. It just looks like a backpack with a paw print on it. So I don't know what this has going
I
for
don't even
it.
know if I'd want to put my dog in there. It doesn't look like it's safe. Like, how do they breathe? Where's they can't see
The
anything?
vents, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know about this one.
no.
Um,
And when you look at what's on page 1,
yeah.
I
See there,
mean,
cool. That
yeah,
spaceship
really
one,
cool.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
people like pets are part of the family these days. People are willing to pay a premium for something that is going to deliver. And it also, like you said, it's got that gas factor. It says something about themselves as both pet owners and their style. Um, yeah, the plain black backpack's not going to cut it.
No, no. And you
And they're
can
trying
see
to
these
charge
are,
more too, I think.
yeah.
But it was more expensive,
Um,
was
oh,
it?
there
It
was
was
$60,
50. Yeah, okay.
but it's only upper tier. I mean, it's more expensive than these two. And I mean,
Mm,
this one, the pink one, and they've also popped in here that's airline approved as well.
yeah,
So
solving another pain
yeah,
point.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And these, 3 of the 4 of these have that expansion area. So if you're, carrying the dog or the cat, you can sit down, open it up. They've got a little bit more room to move around. So yeah,
Yeah, it's just a
definitely
no-brainer.
room to improve. Yeah. So I hope we've given you guys some food for thought and spurred some ideas on ways that you can tackle this part of your product research and get some good ideas. So if you've got any questions, it doesn't have to be about what the presentation was about. We are here to answer any of your questions that you might have about any aspect of your Amazon business.
Yeah, we're both sellers in the US and in Australia. So, like I said at the start, we're a community. So, if you do have any questions, feel free to share them, comments. We're here. We do this each week on a different topic. Next week, it's going to be about keywords, which, even if you're still researching your first product, super important because keywords are how people find you. So, if you're thinking, and we touched on it a little bit just even then with the airline approved, that's a keyword. So knowing that is going to help you when you're designing your packaging, your products. So definitely tune in for that one. It's going to be a great one.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was doing my product research, and even though the keywords on fire is technically in the listing optimization section of the platform, I was constantly looking for it in the product research section because I was using it constantly when I was doing my research to find those keywords that that were going to be the money for me, that were going to make the difference when I launch my product, and suss out that competition before I place my order on those different keywords.
Yeah, great. So we've got some questions coming through. Vera's just asked about building fake shipping plans and when to cancel them. So when you're ready to send products into Amazon, you create your shipping plan. Obviously, if you go through to a certain stage, you'll probably need to pay for, depending on how you're doing it. So I'm guessing you haven't got to that stage. Just remember to cancel it before you send in your real shipment because it will affect your available inventory levels that Amazon holds. So if you have a shipment in process, even if it is fake, they will take those units off your available storage space. So there's not so much a time frame of when it needs to be cancelled, but just don't forget to cancel it. I know plenty of people who have, and then they're wondering why they can only ship in a really limited quantity amount. So that would be my suggestion with that one.
The family. Yeah, the husband needs something. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, and I think I've done that a few times, and like made a mistake and needed to cancel it. And so really, anyway, so I would make sure that I cancel it and give myself a little bit of time for their system to catch up and make sure that they've registered that it's a canceled plan. Because I think I canceled one and then went to create the next one, and it hadn't quite caught up and let me take advantage of that, the numbers that I wanted to ship in. So, it may have taken an hour or two for that to register in their system, so I would have that full availability for the actual shipping plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've just been asked if you can have more than one brand in our seller account. You can definitely have more than one brand. We have been this has been a hot topic between the two of us, because I'm launching a new brand, and I was really weighing up whether I should put it in my existing seller account or set up an entirely new one. And I've decided to set up a new one. And the reason why I've done that is because I'm really excited about this new product. I do have plans to build it and sell it eventually. And having that in its separate seller account, separate history, just makes it such a more cleaner, beautiful package to sell. It's much more attractive to a buyer. It's not all muddled up with my other products. So it is a tough decision because it does come with more costs. You have 2 seller fees, you'd have 2 sets of accounting fees, all that sort of thing. But I've weighed it up, and it's definitely the better option for me. So just keep that in mind. If you are grouping brands together, it does make it a little bit more messy if you're planning to sell eventually.
But then I guess if you have, if you're doing one brand, I can't think of an example without giving away what I'm doing. But if I had one brand in this niche, and then it's a different niche, and it does need to be a different brand, but it's kind of a complementary brand that you might sell those together. The 2 brands as a company. That could be something. So I guess it just depends on what your end goal is, to do that.
Yeah.
And when I started my business, I had no thought of selling. People talked about selling your brand. No, I love my brand. I'm going to keep my brand forever. And then it's like, oh heck no! I'm going to build this up, and I'm going to sell it, and then I'm going to do it again because this is fun. And that's how I'm going to be able to accomplish a lot of my financial goals, is to be able to sell my brand. Fingers crossed in 12 to 18 months. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
watch this space.
Yeah, absolutely. So Matt's just asked if these sessions are recorded. They definitely are. You'll get a replay later today, but I'm just going to drop a little link in there where you can watch past training replays. So we keep these hidden. The link that I've dropped in will send you to YouTube. We do keep those hidden from the general public, but that link will let you in. So you can watch all the past trainings there. Cool. Oh, there's some more questions coming. I'm just trying to see where we're up to. So a question about listing books. We don't traditionally recommend going, I know that's a very popular approach at the moment. So doing your own books on Amazon, we prefer to recommend private label products. So that's where you're creating your own product, your own brand, where possible, growing that out. We find it's long-term, a very sustainable, reliable business. Books isn't something that we specialize in, so not able to give too much guidance there. Not sure if you've got any.
We can, our tools will work in that niche though. They
will work for keywords. They will work for keywords, yeah, which, like I said before, keywords is how people find you. So next week's training will probably be a brilliant one on that. but to learn if you've got the right keywords in there for your books. And when I say books, it's not books that you buy in a bookshelf. These are ebooks, ones that you've either commissioned or written yourself. So a little bit different. It's very, very interesting strategy.
Does the Chrome extension work on those in Amazon?
Yes, I believe it does. Yeah.
I've not tried it. I was interested to see about that because I know someone who's going down that path. But yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah. Awesome.
David, I'm with you 100%. Yes, I am chasing that digital nomad lifestyle. I'm semi-retired as a nurse. I'm so thrilled and working really hard to get the husband retired. So yes, that is amazing.
Yeah. So new seller for testing process. So that's what the second brand is for. Yeah, it definitely can have, like I said, I've got 2 brands and 1 seller account at the moment. The new one is for my 3rd brand, which I'm keeping separate. It's just that judgment call as you find products. Maybe you come across one that is an absolute winner, you can then move it out into a separate account if you need to. Just remember, Amazon
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Amazon absolutely will let you set up multiple seller accounts. You just have to follow their rules. So you need to have a different entity, different bank account. You can't apply using the same data. They just won't accept it.
But if you're doing a separate brand, an additional brand within your existing account, for it to qualify as a brand, you would still need to have that trademark, at least in application. So you can qualify for that branded category and brand registry to have that. Otherwise, it would just go under generic.
Yeah, which can be a cost. In the US, I know it takes a long time. I'm still waiting on one that I started probably this time last year. It takes a long time. And we don't do one-on-one coaching sessions. It's something that we're considering for this year, but our support team is hands down the best you'll find. So if you've got any questions, it's there 24/7, the little chat bubble in the right-hand corner. You can ask any questions that you've got. Otherwise, join us each week and we're happy to discuss any issues or anything that you need. We're always here. And these sessions are always hosted by real sellers. So we don't phone it in. We're going through the day-to-day issues that you're probably experiencing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We are in the trenches.
Yeah. Some days it feels like you're in the trenches more than others. It's the wild ride of Amazon. Very rewarding. Very, very rewarding.
Yeah. Absolutely it is.
Great to hear. If there's no other questions, I'll just leave it a few seconds. We might get a bit of an early mark today. Our sessions usually run between that half hour to an hour. Some days it's much longer, but yeah, it looks like we might wrap it up for today. Thank you for asking. I'm out of stock and I'm devastated. I'm out of stock. Yeah, but I found, so for those of you in the room that don't know, I launched a new product on Amazon in, when was it? Late September. And it was not a product that I put much effort into. It was pretty much off the Amazon shelves, the Alibaba shelves. But I found in Australia, there's not a lot of people doing Amazon FBA, which means if you do launch a product there using FBA, Amazon's going to favor you. So it's very, very easy to get to page 1, position 1. You don't have to try very hard, which for somebody who is used to the US, it just was the best experience. It was so much fun. And straight out of the gate started doing 10K and then grew each month more and more and more. Ran out of stock and my new stock is arriving in about 3 weeks. So
that's not too bad.
Not too bad, but I should have planned my inventory better. But with COVID and all things, I just didn't get the timing right. I actually underestimated the demand, and that's a good problem to have. So
you got through Christmas, so yeah. And you got an order coming in before Chinese New Year, so that was Chinese New Year hit me up really bad last year. So you've got to look at those time blocks and be aware of
Mhm.
those, because shipping is hard enough without having those big things factor into it. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So Chinese New Year pretty much takes out all of Feb. And just a little suggestion, if you are at the stage where you're sourcing products or you've got a relationship that you're building with a company, make sure you wish them a happy new year. Maybe send them a little gift if you can. It goes a long way to build that relationship. And yeah, I highly recommend doing that. It's a nice thing, and it builds that long-term relationship. They might put you ahead of the queue.
Yes. Yeah,
Mm.
the manufacturers in China are very focused on that relationship, and that's a very important factor. So to keep in mind when you're negotiating and cultivating those relationships.
Yeah. So someone's just mentioned that they're launching with a smaller batch, which is great if it's your first launch. Doesn't matter what product it is, I always do a small batch to test the market. Competitor sales are growing. I think that's a really positive thing. If you're launching into a category that is increasing in demand, if you have a solid product that is quality, hopefully you've differentiated. If not, get really creative on how you can set yours apart using photography and videos, nail those keywords. There's a huge potential there. I'd rather enter a category with growing sales than one that is declining.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I think that's it for today. We might end it there. And thank you all so much for joining us as usual. And we hope to see you on the next one.
Yeah. Have a great week, everybody.